Hello students, welcome to my class. So in this video, I will be starting with organic chemistry unit 2, wherein we'll be studying about synthetic designs and planning of organic synthesis. So to begin with, we are starting with carbon-carbon single and double bond forming reactions. We will study about different example where there is carbon-carbon single bond forming or double bond triple bond formation. Okay, so to begin with, one first example for the carbon-carbon single bond forming reaction is Suzuki coupling reaction. So this reaction, it won the Nobel Prize in 2010. So what happens in Suzuki coupling reaction is that we are using palladium as a catalyst. So the halide compound, that is Rx, it is made to react with organoboron molecule, that is organic molecule having boron in it, and then this is done in the presence of palladium catalyst and a base. And what do we get? We get biphenyl or biaryl by the end of the reaction. So that is called as Suzuki coupling reaction. There are three steps in which this reaction is carried out, that is oxidative addition, transmetallation and reductive elimination. So we will study each of the steps individually. So let's understand the mechanism of how Suzuki coupling reaction proceeds. So what are we taking first? Rx, which is an we are taking Rx, which is a halide compound, and the first step is oxidative addition. So here you can see to Rx, that is the halide compound, we are adding palladium. This was used as a catalyst. So palladium, it was in oxidation state 0, and when we are adding this palladium to Rx or this halide compound, it forms a species together, that is R dash P X. Okay, so PDX. So palladium gets added here, and now the oxidation state of palladium changes from 0 to +2. Next, we are taking the second species that we are using in this reaction, that is organoboron species. Okay, so this is the organoboron species that we're taking, RbOH. Okay, two OH groups attached to the central boron atom, and it is made to react with NaOH because NaOH is also another catalyst. We're taking palladium along with the base, correct? So NaOH is that catalyst that we're taking. So we are making RbOH, OH react with NaOH, the base. What happens is that the Na plus part gets attached to R2 and the OH part gets attached to B. Okay, so there is a charge separation that is taking place. So you can see that Na plus part has got attached to R2 and it retains its plus charge. Same way OH will get attached to boron, and boron will get a slightly negative charge here since it is attached to 3 OH groups. So it's a complex where there is both plus and minus charge in it. So what is the next step is, the next step is transmetallation. So you can see that we are taking this complex here, and these two complexes that are formed by the end of reaction 1, that is oxidative addition, they react with each other. So we are taking R dash P PDX and this another complex, and they are made to react with each other. Now students, what happens is that this R2 group is there. Now that will come and replace the X here. That will take the position of X. So what do you get? R1 PD R2. That R2 replaces the X here, and the halide group is eliminated. Okay, so that eliminated halide group is then taken up by this Na plus group and it comes out as NaX. And what else is left here? We have B3OH. So we have BOH, OH, OH, which can also be written as boron tri hydroxide. Okay, 3 times OH. 3 times OH. So what is happening in this step? This R2 group tries to replace this X. So the X is being eliminated, the halide group is being eliminated, and this Na plus comes and forms a bond with that X to give NaX, and you have this group replacing here. So you have R1 PdR2 and boron trihydroxide forming. And what is the last step of this reaction? It is called as reductive elimination. So here R1 PdR2 is there, but we want a carbon carbon single bond forming reaction, correct? So what is happening here in the last step? This Pd atom, the central palladium catalyst, is eliminated by the end of this reaction. So we get R1 bond R2 plus Pd. Pd is eliminated out from this molecule. Next example for carbon-carbon single bond forming reaction. One more example is hex reaction. So here we are taking aryl halide in the presence of alkene and with palladium catalyst in the presence of a base. We get this new compound where there is a new carbon-carbon single bond formation, as you can see here. So this is Rx, which is an aryl halide, and then we're taking an alkene, CH2 double bond CHR, an alkene and palladium in the presence of base. So what is the mechanism? The first step is same as that of the previous one, that is oxidative addition reaction. So take your aryl halide and add palladium to it. So palladium, initially it will be in the oxidation state 0, and then it forms a complex with this aryl halide to give R dash PDX. And this palladium complex, in this complex the palladium oxidation state will be +2. What is the next step? That is insertion reaction. So here what happens, the palladium complex that you have got is made to react with the alkene. So there is insertion taking place, that is the R dash part will get attached to this carbon and the PDX part will get attached to the next carbon. So you can see here R dash got attached to this carbon CH2, and in order to maintain the carbon valency 4, this double bond is broken and this carbon forms another bond with which this one, it forms another bond with PDX part. Okay, and the last step is reductive elimination. So here there is elimination of this PDX, and the beta carbon will lose one hydrogen. So it is also called as beta hydride elimination. So you can see this first carbon, the bond that it formed in the previous step, that is PDX, this bond is lost and the PDX is gone. So it forms a double bond with this neighboring carbon, that is carbon number 2, and carbon number 2 had two hydrogens, it was CH2. It will lose one of its H so that it can form the double bond with carbon number 1. So last we will get R dash C double bond C CH R. Okay, and both the carbons valencies are satisfied. So this is second example of carbon carbon single bond forming reaction. Next reaction, next example for carbon-carbon single bond forming reaction is Nageshi coupling reaction. So here we are taking Rx or an alkyl or an aryl halide and making it react with a zinc complex, that is organometallic species having zinc metal in it, and then this is done in the presence of palladium catalyst. We get R and R dash. Now the mechanism follows the same step as that of the previous one. What is step number 1? It is oxidative addition reaction, that is we are taking Rx and palladium catalyst is added to it. What happens? We get a palladium complex, and what is oxidation state of palladium here? It is +2, whereas here the oxidation state of palladium will be 0. Next step is transmetallation. So here in the previous step we got R1 PDX complex. So make that complex react with zinc complex, that is R dash ZnX. So what does the zinc complex do? The ZnX part gets separated out and it takes this X or halide from the R1 PDX. So it gets eliminated as ZnX2, and this R dash will go and fill up the place of X and will attach to palladium. So we get R1 PDR dash plus Zn X2. What is happening? The ZNX part will get separated out and will eliminate this X from here. It will remove this X from here, and this R dash will go and form a bond or fill up that vacant position of X. So we get R1 PD R dash. And next step, you know how to remove palladium here. It is through reductive elimination reaction. That is, palladium is eliminated from here and we get palladium back as a catalyst in zero oxidation state. And what else is left? R1 R dash. So there is a carbon carbon single bond formation. Next is Songa-Shira reaction, which is a carbon-carbon triple bond forming reaction. So here we are making an alkyl halide react with copper acetalide, that is CuC triple bond C bond R2. Okay, so actually this is a carbon-carbon single bond forming reaction only because triple bond is already there. Okay, so here R1 is forming a bond with this carbon, so it is a carbon-carbon single bond forming reaction. And in the presence of palladium catalyst, you get R1 C triple bond C R2. So how is the mechanism? First step is oxidative addition reaction. So you have to take R1X in the presence of palladium catalyst. Palladium is in the oxidation state 0. Now what happens? The palladium gets added here because it's oxidative addition reaction. So we get R1 PD, palladium goes to plus 2 oxidation state X. What is the next step? Next step is a transmetallation. So in transmetallation step, the next step what happens here, there's an elimination of CuX from this molecule. Cu gets eliminated and from this palladium complex X gets eliminated to come out as CuX, and then what you have to do, just join this palladium part to this carbon, so you get R1 PD C triple bond C R2 plus CuX. And the last step is reductive elimination, that is elimination of palladium here. So palladium gets eliminated in this step and you get R1 C triple bond C R2 plus palladium is got back as a catalyst. So this is one more example of carbon-carbon single bond forming reaction. So what are the different carbon-carbon single forming bond forming reactions? All of them we are using palladium as a catalyst, and all of them follow the basic three steps, that is oxidative addition, transmetallation and reductive elimination. So different reactions are, one is Suzuki coupling reaction, and the second is Hex reaction, third is Nagashi reaction, and the fourth one is Songa-Shira reaction. So moving on to the next topic, that is next is synthetic designs. In synthetic designs, we study about how different organomolecules, molecular species are formed and how their, orientation or design is. So in synthetic designs, there are two classification. One is ring breaking reaction and ring forming reaction. So as their name suggests, in ring breaking reaction, there's a breaking of rings, and there is a CC, that is a carbon-carbon ring is broken, whereas in ring forming reaction there is formation of new carbon carbon rings. Okay, so first we will discuss about ring breaking later on. First we will discuss about all the reactions that include new ring formation. So ring formation reaction, one of the examples is Dean Alder reaction. That is, you're taking a butadiene in the presence of alkene, you get a cyclic product, so there is a ring formation here. Second, this is another example where is a ring containing oxygen is taken and made to react with benzene. So here you can see there's a small correction here. This bond shifts onto this carbon. See, this double bond is there, no? It will shift onto this carbon. So this carbon actually has to get a partial negative charge because the bond electrons are shifting on it. So this, please do this correction. There is a partial negative charge on this carbon, and this carbon will get a partial positive charge. Same here, this bond is shifting that side, so this carbon will be deprived of bond, so it will get a partial positive charge, and this bond is shifting onto this carbon, so there is a partial negative charge here. So you can see that because of the positive charge here, this carbon can form a bond with this carbon having a negative charge, and this carbon with a negative charge can form a bond with this carbon having a positive charge. So there's a formation of atom. So here we are just giving you just two simple examples for you to understand. So you can see there's an additional ring that is formed. Okay. So these two are simple examples for you to understand what exactly is ring formation reaction, what exactly is happening in ring formation reaction. Now we'll go to some important reactions, some named reactions which are important. First reaction under ring formation is Diels-Alder reaction, which we already studied. So you can write it either this way. What is happening in Diels-Alder, student? An alkene is made to react with butadiene. You can write it this way, or you can also write it represented this way. So alkene, when made to react with butadiene, you get a cyclic compound, a new ring is formed. And this is also called as 4 plus 2 pi cycloaddition reaction. So this is the first important example of ring formation reaction. Second important ring formation reaction is Robinson annulation reaction. Now students, all the named reactions are very very important. So you need to know what the reaction is and how is their mechanism. So the first most important reaction is Robinson's annulation reaction, which is an example of ring formation reaction. So here the molecule containing acidic protons, they usually undergo this reaction. So this is a molecule which has acidic protons in it. So this can undergo Robinson's annulation reaction. When this molecule is made to react with a ketonic compound, you can see that there is a carbonyl group here, see double bond O. So it is a ketonic compound. In the presence of base, we get a product which has an additional ring. Can you see the additional ring here? Initially it had only one. So there's an additional ring formation that has taken place here. So this is an example for carbon-carbon ring forming reaction. Now let us understand how the mechanism of this reaction proceeds. It consists of Michael addition and aldol condensation reaction. Okay, so the first step is you're taking this base. We are using this base as a catalyst. So here let us take NaOH. It dissociates to give Na plus and OH minus. In the second step, you will take the first reactant, that is a ring containing double bond O. Okay. Now here each of the carbon has two hydrogens attached to it, correct? Because carbon's valency is 4. Now let's take this carbon here, carbon number 1. 1, 2, 3 and 4. The third and fourth valency is satisfied by those two hydrogens. Same way here, the next carbon also is attached to two hydrogens. This third carbon also is attached to two hydrogen. Fourth carbon also is attached to two hydrogen, and fifth carbon is also attached to two hydrogen. And only the sixth carbon is not attached to any hydrogen because it has a double bond with the oxygen here. So its valency is already satisfied. So we are taking, this is a carbon containing molecule containing acidic proton. Okay, so we are taking this carbon and we are showing its two hydrogens. Now what happens, students? Since we have OH minus in the medium, there's an elimination of proton here. So one H plus goes out to form water, to react with OH minus and form water. So what happens here? This H goes out as H plus ion. So this bond electrons will shift onto this carbon. So this carbon here, that is carbon number 1, will get a negative charge on itself. Okay, that is a second step. Now what is the third step? So in the third step, what happens, students? This product that we got by the end of step number 2. It is made to react with another reactant, that is CH2 double bond CH, C double bond O, CH3. That is this ketonic compound. Now, whenever there is a ketonic compound, you know that the carbonyl group is there and oxygen is highly electronegative. We'll start pulling electrons from the carbon here. So this double bond is there. That double bond pi electrons are being pulled towards the oxygen. So this oxygen will get a negative charge, whereas this carbon will get a positive charge on itself. And in order to remove that positive charge, what does this carbon do? It tries to withdraw electrons from the neighboring carbon. Okay, so here there is a pi electrons here by the end of the chain, correct? So it tries to pull that electron towards itself. So this double bond, the pi electrons of the double bond, they will shift here because this carbon is getting a positive charge. In order to neutralize that positive charge, this pi electrons will shift here as double bond. So what happens to this carbon? This carbon will get a partial positive charge. Now this carbon here has a negative charge and this carbon here will get a partial positive charge because this pi electrons are pulled away from it. So what happens? This carbon will form a bond with this carbon here. Here there's a bond formation, new bond formation that is seen. So the next step is this one, students. From here it goes here. This is the next step. So you can see that here there's a bond formation between this carbon and this carbon. So there is a bond formation CH2 single bond. Initially it was double bond, now it is single bond because this has shifted between this and this carbon number 2 and 3. So CH2 single bond CH double bond, that is a new bond that is formed, CO minus bond CH. It was actually CH3, we are writing it as CH2H. Okay. In the next step, what happens is that this proton is being eliminated. So there's an elimination of proton. There is water in the reaction medium, correct? Water was formed in the previous step. So that water dissociates to give H plus and OH minus, and the OH minus group of the water will try to withdraw this proton, try to remove this proton from here. So this H will go out as H plus. So this carbon here will get a partial negative charge. So here in pencil I have written minus. So this carbon is getting a partial negative charge. Why? Because this proton is going out as H plus. Same way here you see there's one more carbonyl group only. See, double bond O is there, and this oxygen, because of high electronegativity, starts to pull electron towards itself. So it will get a minus charge. So this carbon will get a plus charge here. Now this carbon here has a negative charge because H has gone out as H plus, and this carbon has a plus charge. So there is a bond formation between this carbon and this carbon. So this is the next product that we get, that is, and this H is there, no, here, that has gone out in the because of dissociation of water. There's a H that is present in the reaction medium that will come and form a bond with this oxygen which has a negative charge. So here we have OH, and then here there's a bond formation. So connect this part to this carbon. So there's CH2, CO minus, double bond CH, CH2. All of this you write it as such. Only changes is this H is going out and this carbon is getting connected to this carbon here. So just a connection is formed over there. So what is the next step? So here students see carefully, after the cyclic one intermediate is formed, what happens? This minus charge shifts back between this carbon and this oxygen as C double bond O. Okay, so this minus charge shifts back here and there is a C double bond O formation. That time see the valency on this carbon here. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Valency is 5, but maximum valency this carbon can have is 4. Since one bond is shifting towards it, so this bond here will get shifted onto this carbon as negative charge. Okay, so since this carbon is now having a negative charge, it will take H plus from the reaction medium because there is water in the reaction medium. So once again it will take H plus from the reaction medium and it will form CH2 once again. Okay, because it will have a negative charge, one H plus will come and attach here to give CH2. So we get a structure like this. So here I have not represented, but this is understood that this is CH2, that is this CH2, and here this is one more CH2, that is this one, bond, C double bond O, that is this bond CH2, and here you see there is elimination of water, that is OH minus group, it goes out. So this carbon here gets a partial positive charge, and from this CH2 one H leaves, so that OH minus combines with one H here to go out as H2O. Okay, and then since it is going out as H2O, this carbon now will have a negative charge because it was CH2 initially, one H left as H plus, so this carbon will have a positive charge. This carbon will have a negative charge because one H it has left out as H plus ion, and this carbon here will get a partial positive charge because this group has gone out as OH minus. So this will have a plus charge, this will have a minus charge. So there is a bond formation because of this minus charge. There is a extra one more bond formation between this C carbon and this carbon, that is seen as a double bond here. So there is a final product that you get, that is the aldol product. So I hope you understood how the reaction proceeded from here. One is this negative charge shifting here as C double bond O, because it is shifting here, this double bond will shift onto this carbon as a minus charge. Because this carbon has a minus charge, one more H will come and add to it. Okay, next that is sorted. Here you can see that there is elimination of water. OH minus will go from here and one H plus will go from here. So there is elimination of water. Since H plus is going, this carbon will get a negative charge, and since this OH minus, this bond is breaking, this carbon will get a positive charge. Therefore, there's a new bond formation. In order to retain the carbon's valency to 4, there's a new bond formation between this carbon and this carbon, that is seen as double bond, and therefore we get our final product, and there's an additional ring formation here. Can you see the additional ring that is formed? So therefore there's an additional ring formation, hence it is comes under ring formation reaction. Same way, second example under Robinson's annulation. So since we have already, you have written one mechanism, I hope you know how to write the mechanism for this. This is a little different type of example, same as that, but the mechanism of reaction proceeding is the same as that of the previous one. So here we are taking a different type of reactant in the presence of base, and an additional ring is formed by the end of the reaction. So let us study how the reaction proceeds. First, what you will take NaOH, it dissociates to give Na plus and OH minus. Then take one of your reactant A, and there is an elimination of this acidic proton from here. OH minus will remove this H as H plus. So there is water formation, water elimination of water. And what does this carbon get? Since this H is going out as H plus, this carbon will get a partial negative charge on itself. Next step, what? You are making this react with the second ketonic compound, that is CH2 double bond CH, C double bond O CH3. Okay. Now here this will get rearranged because this double bond O carbonyl group here, oxygen being highly electronegative, will pull the electrons of the pi bond. So oxygen will get a minus charge, and here since this carbon is getting a plus charge on itself, in order to remove or neutralize that plus charge, it will start pulling this pi electron towards itself. So this double bond gets shifted between, if we number it 1, 2, 3 and 4, this double bond will get shifted between carbon number 2 and 3. So carbon number 1 will get a plus charge, and here this carbon has a minus charge. So this carbon number 1 attacks to this carbon here. Okay. So the next step is, so now what is happening? This group you will directly add it here, okay? Because this carbon is having a negative charge and this carbon is having a positive charge. So directly add this entire group over here. So that is being added. Now this end CH3 is there. We will write it as CH2H and there is elimination of proton. So one H goes out as H plus. So there will be a negative charge on this carbon because it is left with CH2. Once again, look here. Here there is a double bond O here. Once again, a carbonyl group is present. So oxygen will start pulling electrons from that bond. So oxygen will have a negative charge here and this carbon will get a partial positive charge on itself. So this carbon here has a positive charge and this carbon here has a negative charge. So what you do, just connect this part over here. Okay, so connect that part over there and this H that had gone out in the reaction here will come and attach over here as OH. So you have CH3, you have OH. Now there is a cyclic structure that is formed here. Next step, what you will do, this O minus is there, no? That minus will shift back and there is a C double bond, O bond formation here, okay? And here there is a double bond, correct? So if you retain this double bond, what happens to this carbon's valency? It will become 5. How? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what happens immediately when this minus is getting shifted back between this carbon and this oxygen, this double bond will get shifted onto this carbon. So this carbon will get a minus charge. What will this carbon do? It will take one H plus from the reaction medium and it will become CH2. So in the next step you can see CH3, we have written it like this. This is nothing but this CH2 and here this is nothing but this CH2. And then there is a C, that is this C double bond O. Down there is one more CH2 which we have opened it and written it as CHH. What is the next step? There is elimination of water. One OH from here and one H from here go out as water. So what does this carbon get? Because it is losing one H here, this carbon will get what charge, students? H is going out as H plus, so this carbon will get a negative charge. What charge will this carbon here get? Where I am pointing the pointer, this carbon will get a, which charge? It will get a plus charge. Because why will it get a plus charge? Because this is going out as OH minus. So this carbon will get a plus charge and this carbon here will get a minus charge. So this carbon will form a bond between this and this carbon. Okay. So there is a double bond formation and there is elimination of water and you will get the final product. And the final product will have one additional ring to it. Hence it is ring formation reaction. Next, another important named reaction, which is an example for ring forming reaction, is Dickman reaction. It is same as that of the Claisen reaction. So what we're using here is esters of adipic acid. So we are using EtO2C, CH2 4 times CO2 ET. So this here we are using these ester groups, okay, of adipic acid. In the presence of base, what do we get? We get a cyclic product. Here in this case, it is a cyclopentanone derivative. So once again there is a new ring formation that is taking place. So it's an example of ring formation reaction. Next, let us study how the mechanism of this reaction takes place. So take your first reactant, that is CH2 4 times COET. Now students, look here. Here this might look like a very complex reactant, but it is nothing but 4 times CH2. So how will you write it? 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 times you will write CH2. It is actually a long chain molecule, but we have written it like this. Okay. 4 times CH2 and what else is there? 2 times C double bond O ET. C double bond O ET. So 2 molecules of COOET that are attached to 2 ends of the chain and the middle chain is 4 times CH2. So this is nothing but the ethyl ester of adipic acid. So here you can see 4 times CH2 is there and 2 COET are attached to 2 ends. Okay, now students look here. If this is carbon number 1 and this is carbon number 2, here carbon number 1 is more acidic compared to this carbon. Why is that? What is the reason I have written it here? Because this carbon is more close to the carbonyl group. Okay, because it is more close here to the C double bond O group, this carbon becomes more acidic compared to that of the this carbon. Same in case of this part also. Here this carbon is more acidic compared to that of this carbon because this is more close to this COET group. Now what else are you taking? You are taking a base here. So let's take a base. Now since this is more acidic, so it will lose one H as H plus ion. So this carbon will get a negative charge, and who will take up that H plus? The base will take up that H plus to form BH plus. So what is the next step, students? Now here this carbon has got a negative charge because it has lost one proton to the base. Next step is here, see, since this carbon it will have a negative charge. What about here? We have COOET, that is, it can be written like this, C double bond O OET. Now you can see here there is a carbonyl group, and here the oxygen is more electronegative, so it will start to pull the electron towards itself. So oxygen will get a minus charge and this carbon will get a partial positive charge. Now this carbon here has a negative charge and this carbon here has a positive charge. So therefore there is a bond formation between this carbon and this carbon here, that is shown in the next step. So we have nothing, we have done what? We have formed a bond between this carbon and this carbon here, and here O minus is there because this double bond migrated onto this oxygen as minus. So in this step what happens after this bond is formed? Once again this double bond that got migrated onto oxygen gets shifted back between carbon and oxygen. That time what happens to this carbon's valency? It is getting disturbed because it will get valency 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Correct. Once this bond migrates back here, there will be two bonds here, 3, 4, 5. So in order to retain the carbon, because carbon's valency, because the maximum valency carbon can have is 4, correct? So in order to retain its valency 4, what happens? There is an elimination of one of the bond. One bond breaks, that is this group gets removed out. The OET group gets removed out and you get a product like this, that is CH2 CHCOET C double bond O CH2 CH2. What is the next step? So in the next step, what happens is that there is addition of water here. So what does the water do? It replaces the ET here with hydrogen. Okay, so you can see here COOET was there and water dissociates to give H plus and OH minus, and that H plus gets added over here and ET gets eliminated as ETOH. Okay, so there is a carboxylic group that is formed here, and after that the last step is decarboxylation, that is removal of this carboxylic group, and the carboxylic group is replaced by one hydrogen, so that its valency, the carbon here, its valency will be 4. So 1, 2, 3 and one more hydrogen is added in place of COH. So this is the final product that you get, which is cyclic in nature. So this is a mechanism how this particular reaction proceeds. Next is example number 2 for the same, that is Dickman reaction. Since you have understood example number 1, it is very easy for you to write because the mechanism is same. Here the only difference is this time we are making a hexanone, cyclohexanone, that is 6 carbon containing ring, but there we made a pentanone which had only 5 carbons. So we are making a hexanone here. So what we have to do is we have to take an additional CH2 here. So it is CH2 5, COET and COET. Rest everything is same. Only difference is that we are taking a palmic acid here where there is 5 CH2 groups. There we took a group having only 4 CH2. So depending upon what type of ring you want to make, how bigger the ring, this CH2 group you can vary. The number of CH2 groups you can vary. Mechanism is the same as that of the previous one. So you will write it along with me, students. So write it. How is it? What is the first step here? Because this is more acidic compared to this carbon. So this will lose one proton. So this carbon will get a partial negative charge on itself. So it is CH minus, and the other end, and the base takes up this proton. That is step number one. What happens on step number two here, students? There is this part, that is C double bond O E T is there. Here, this double bond O is there, no? So this oxygen being highly electronegative will start pulling electrons towards itself. So oxygen will get a negative charge and this carbon will get a partial positive charge on itself. So since this carbon has a negative charge and since this carbon has a positive charge, there is a bond formation between this carbon and this carbon, that is shown over here. There's a bond formation between these two carbon atoms. What is the next step, students? This double bond O that got shifted on oxygen as a minus charge now shifts back between this oxygen and this carbon as double bond. So what is the valency of this carbon? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So since the valency is more than 4, it has to bring back its valency to 4. So what is happening? There is an elimination of this OET group that gets removed out. So the valency is retained back to 4. So now it has 1, 2, 3 and 4. And what is the next step? Addition of water. So there is addition of water here so that this Et is replaced by H. So we get a COOH, that is a carboxylic group here. Carboxylic acid functional group is obtained here because Et is replaced by H on the addition of water. What is the last step, students? There is removal of this COOH group, that is called as decarboxylation, and this is replaced by H. So it's nothing but this COO goes out as carbon dioxide, CO2, and this H remains here. Okay, that is what is happening here. So finally we get our cyclic product, that is cyclohexanone. Two more examples they have given. So if you, this is for you to write the mechanism. I've given you the reaction. Now you can sit and write the mechanisms for these two. So you can pause the video and write the mechanism for these two. And the mechanism, it follows the same step as that of the previous one. No changes at all. So you're forming cyclic products here. Hence, it is an example for ring formation reaction. Moving on, the next reaction for ring formation reaction example is the Thorpe condensation reaction. This is one more named reaction that is very, very important. So here what happens, a dinitrile, that is you can see that dinitrile reactant in the presence of a base, it will give a cyclic product. So here we are taking a dinitrile which in the presence of base will give us a cyclic product. So let us understand the reaction mechanism, students. So what do we have? CH2 four times. So write it like this: CH2, 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 CH, and in the two ends there is CN. That is a nitrile group that is present. What is the first step? The base will abstract a proton. So this is more acidic because it is directly attached to the nitrile group. So there will be a proton elimination from this carbon, carbon number 1. So this H plus is abstracted by the base. So here this carbon will get a negative charge. What happens in the next steps? This carbon is getting a negative charge, that is happening in the first step. This hydrogen is abstracted by the base. In the next step we are opening this group and writing, that is CN, that is nothing but C triple bond N, correct? So this nitrogen being more electronegative than carbon starts to pull this one of the bonds, one of the three bonds is being pulled towards nitrogen. So nitrogen will get a partial negative charge and carbon will get a positive charge. Since this carbon has a positive charge and this carbon has a negative charge, there is a bond formation between this carbon and this carbon. Okay. And then since nitrogen, it has three bonds initially. One bond, it starts to pull towards itself and it gets a negative charge, and there is H plus in the reaction medium. So since this nitrogen has a negative charge, one H plus from the reaction will come and attach to this nitrogen to give NH. Now what do we have? Everything else as such, CH2 CH you will write, and there is a bond formation between this carbon and this carbon. So join it and write, and there is C triple bond N, CH2 CH2, and C, before it was triple bond, now one bond got shifted here on nitrogen, so it is C double bond N, and one H is there. What is the next step? So what is happening here, students? One bond shifted here onto nitrogen. So in this step here, one triple bond was there. One bond shifted onto nitrogen. So nitrogen got a negative charge. H plus from the reaction medium came and attached over to this nitrogen. And because this carbon had a positive charge, in order to remove that positive charge on this carbon, here there is a bond formation, that is C. Okay, so this is a product that you get. And next step, what happens? There is now double bond here. One more bond starts to shift on to nitrogen. Okay, so from double bond it will become single bond. One more bond starts to shift on to nitrogen. So nitrogen will get a negative charge and carbon will get a positive charge. Now see here, I have written here down, there is water in the reaction medium that will split to give H plus and OH minus. Since this carbon will get a plus charge on itself, the OH minus part will go and attach onto this carbon, and the H plus part will go and attach to this nitrogen. So there is a second H that is adding to this nitrogen. So we have now what? COH and single bond NH2 here. Okay, so what happens next is that there's a single bond NH2 that's not shown here, but I've written it down here. See, there is single bond NH2 species here. Correct. That single bond is, once again that single bond will shift on to nitrogen to give a negative charge on nitrogen. Okay, so that single bond once again will shift and the nitrogen will have a negative charge. Here this carbon is attached to OH, correct, that I have shown over here. Okay, this carbon is attached to this OH group that is shown over here. What happens? The H gets eliminated out and this bond that is present, that is between oxygen and hydrogen, gets shifted between carbon and oxygen as C double bond O. Okay, and this hydrogen goes out and this third hydrogen comes and attaches to this NH2 minus, because N already here has a negative charge. One more hydrogen comes and attaches, so we have NH3 that is going out. So we have NH3 and we have C double bond O. That's how the third hydrogen is getting added. So I hope it is clear, students, for you all what is happening here. One first three times this bond between carbon and nitrogen shifts until this entire bond, three bonds will break. When it shifts for the first time, one hydrogen will come and add, and this carbon will form a bond with this carbon. When it shifts on the second time, what happens? One water will dissociate to give H plus and OH minus, and H plus part will come and attach here to give NH2, and OH minus part will come and attach to this carbon. Okay, and then once again for the third time that bond will shift. This time we will have NH2 minus here, and one H will come from this bond, that is COH is there, no, there OH, H plus will leave and we will get this bond will shift between carbon and oxygen, so we get C double bond O, and that H plus will come and attach over here to give NH3. Okay, that is eliminated and we get this final products. That's the reaction mechanism of Thorpe condensation reaction. So with this, I am going to end this video. Thank you for attending my class. Take care and bye.